has been. So if you're joining me, say hi below. This will be a little bit different than the show that we have been doing, just because of all the things that are happening out in the world. I'm sure you know because everyone's been talking about all the protests and riots and a little bit of the pandemic. And so I just wanted to do a quick video instead of talking about a topic and trying to focus about on your high performance, which is my job as your coach. I wanted to kind of have more of an open kind of discussion as much as we can over social media on just some how I'm thinking through all of this. And yeah, because I think my initial reaction is, oh, we got to do something. I think a lot of people's reaction was, hey, we got to do something. And, sometimes you have to slow down and kind of think, like, okay, how can we be a little bit more strategic about it? How can we be inclusive? How can we, get curious? I think so many people have been a lot more curious about, race in America, about everything that's going on, and I think that's a good thing. And maybe it wasn't soon enough, um, you know, but that's where we're at right now. So how can we, um, you know, take that for what it is and make the most out of the moments today to have the next best step forward? And that's kind of been my biggest thing is like, how do we continue the momentum? How do we as Americans continue to move forward? So, no, I don't know everything. So, like I said, this is just my thoughts on it. I am open and totally eager to hear what you guys think, especially if there's things I'm missing, if there's another point that could be made, because I'm sure almost 100% that will be the case. um, just because of, you know, only, one person can only consider so many things, and that's why we need each other, you know. So, just so here's like a couple of questions I've been thinking through, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Um, the first question that I've been thinking through is, how do we keep up pressure for change in policing and, the systematic stuff needing to change here in the U.S. And I don't have a great idea. I think talking about it is a start. I think you know putting pressure on politicians for reforms and police organizations for demilitarizing things. I think adopting policies of de-escalation in our policing would be greatly served by all our communities. I think this we're all citizens. Kind of coming back to like there's the whole political thing. There's a lot of racial thing. The thing that we have in common is that we're Americans and we share the history of everyone who aren't aware of it. So I think like kind of understanding that history too is super important. But it really comes down to how can we keep pressure up to make changes this time around because of how tragic it was. So thinking about that, I've been thinking about how can we build the political will to force the change that we need, because that's basic American democracy that will determine, I think, the state and health of our nation. Um, and it is that political change, and how do we, make that happen as Americans, as citizens. So what do you guys think about on that? How can we, build more political will for this change? Because the anger's there, the outrage is there. I think so many more folks who just can't ignore how horrific things are anymore, which is good. So, um, thinking about that, I'm thinking about how we can individually help create this political change, this pressure for change. Part of it I think is to be reminded that every time there's been huge social change in the United States, there's usually a lot of terrible things that happen, but also a lot of optimism. I think this is a good moment for change, and I think that we can do that, and I think we will do it. And I don't know how, but I trust in my fellow citizens that this is a tipping point and will be enough. But we also need to, individually start, pushing for that change. So part of what I've been thinking about for doing that is, you need to we need to be talking about the future on policies again. We need to be talking about how we can change the future, and then go forth and do that. So I really don't. I struggle with this individual part right now, so I'm just doing the best that I can. But again, all ears. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. Um, Last two questions I've been trying to think of through is like, what are our next best steps? I think the protesting has been great. You know, I don't think the looting's been good, but I think the protesting, showing the public's view on this has been very powerful and very hard to ignore from leadership and politicians. So we need to keep that pressure up, I think, for the short term. But I also think we need, again, to be getting clear and specific on how we want changes. So I saw that Obama had some points for mayors to go through, and I thought was really awesome. I think we need more um, input from communities all across the nation into what that looks like. So, and then the last question I have is like, what do you guys think about this? How are you guys thinking through what's going on and how you can help and participate and help enable the change? Because I'll say, like, again, like, I've never had so many people talk about this issue in my circle. A lot of times it was defeatist. It's like, that's another terrible thing that's happened. What can we do about it? This feels different, and I think there's some optimism in that things are maybe have finally tipped. And it's going to be a struggle, like anything. I think history shows that. I think what everyone's, the current time shows that. So struggle is going to be part of it, but it feels like enough people are like, okay, we need to change this. So, um, yeah, this is a little bit of what I'm thinking through, guys. I really have no idea. Again, like, um, about any of it. If it's good ideas, okay ideas, what am I missing? What do we need to be collectively talking about more? Again, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. So, um, but yeah, I think before too, I would have been very afraid to say anything. Don't want to be political, don't want to offend people, but that time's over. I think, we that can't happen anymore. I think we need to be talking about this and moving forward. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you see this as a time, an opportunity for change, and I hope you see it as an opportunity for some optimism that things might finally boil over, so we can get some of the big changes that we need. And we have this ugly part of our national society kind of revealed, and we now have an opportunity to fix it. And that, I think, is the beauty of America and the U.S. So, anyways, yeah, guys, let me know what what you guys are thinking about it. What more we need to be talking about. How we can, maybe start talking about some different types of policies that would be helpful. Um, and just be listening for that message. I think the people that are going to have the biggest change are going to have the clearest, like, this is what we can do. As soon as that happens, we'll be able to latch on and put our collective support behind it. So all right, guys, that's Phil, we were talking about it. feel like I need to. There's some necessity to it, and yeah, we're all struggling through it too. So uh, keep talking, keep doing what you're doing. Um, keep hoping that the future's gonna get better because I think it must. So that said, guys, take care, and I'll talk to you later.